Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram still this is alone. He might need some help. Just to pass forward, he's alone. Because it's a time of offer. Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone for the present morning's Bhagavatam class. We will continue from verse number 20 of chapter 25 and the third. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashakaya Chakshurannilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswate Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshakarine वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Hare Krishna. Yesterday we saw how in response to devotees' inquiry of a path for attaining mukti, Lord Kapila shares that Yes, I can give you Adhyatmik Yoga, which is a combination of Jnana, Marg, and Yoga Marg and Bhakti Marg. And therein he says that first let me offer you the Bhakti Marg. So he begins to explain the path of pure devotional service from text 20. So, he begins from 19th actually. We'll just read from 19th. न युज्यमानया भक्त्या भगवत्यखिलात्मनि सदृशोऽस्ति शिवा पन्था योगिनां ब्रह्मसिद्धये Perfection and self-realization cannot be attained by any kind of yogi unless he engages in devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For that is the only auspicious path. Purport. That knowledge and renunciation are never perfect unless joined by devotional service is explicitly explained here. No, na yujyamanaya means without being devoted. When there is devotional service, then the question is where to offer that service. Devotional service is to be offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the super soul of everything. For that is the only reliable path of self-realization or Brahman realization. The word Brahma Siddhaye means to understand oneself to be different from matter, to understand oneself to be Brahman. The Vedic words are Aham Brahmasmi. Brahma Siddhi means that one should know that he is not matter, he is pure soul. There are different kinds of yogis, but every yogi is supposed to engage in self-realization or Brahman realization. It is clearly stated here that unless one is fully engaged in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one cannot have easy approach to the path of Brahma Siddhi. In the beginning of second chapter, Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that when one engages himself in the devotional service of Vasudeva, spiritual knowledge and renunciation of the material world automatically become manifest. Thus, a devotee does not have to try to separate. Thus, a devotee does not have to try separately for renunciation or knowledge. Devotional service itself is so powerful that by one's devotion, one's service attitude, everything is revealed. It is stated here, Shiva Pantha. This is the only auspicious path for self-realization. The path of devotional service is the most confidential means for attaining Brahma realization. That perfection in Brahma realization is attained through the auspicious path of devotional service indicates that the super Brahma realization or realization of the Brahma Jyoti effulgence is not Brahma Siddhi. Beyond that Brahma Jyoti, there is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Upanishads, a devotee prays to the Lord to kindly put aside the effulgence, Brahma Jyoti, so that the devotee may see within the Brahma Jyoti the actual eternal form of the Lord. Unless one attains realization of the transcendental form of the Lord, there is no question of bhakti. Bhakti necessitates the existence of the recipient of devotional service and the devotee who renders devotional service. Brahma Siddhi, through devotional service, is realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The understanding of the effulgent rays of the body of the Supreme Godhead is not the perfect stage of Brahma Siddhi or Brahma realization, nor is the realization of the Paramatma feature of the Supreme Person perfect for Bhagavan. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Akhilatma. He is a super soul. One who realizes the Supreme Personality of Godhead realizes the other features, namely the Paramatma feature and the Brahman feature, and that total realization is Brahma Siddhi. So even though the purport appears to be quite technical, actually it is very simple. So 3 points Prabhupada is stressing here. First, as Lord Kapiladev himself is telling in the verse, that even though I spoke of three paths, which is Adhyatmika Yoga, let me also explain that actually the best way of engaging mind and the body in Krishna's in the spiritual life is Bhakti Yoga. So here he says this. See the words he is using. He says, Na yujyamanaya bhaktya. Bhagavati Akhilatmani. He says that actually, whatever paths I may tell, he doesn't even say like these two paths. He says any path, unless uh, unless they are along with bhakti or unless they are subordinate to bhakti, they will not give perfection anyways. So such clarity actually, just like in the 8th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, last two verses, they clearly say, or in the 6th chapter of the Gita, the last verse, Yogina Salvation. So very, very clear in Bhagavad Gita, so many places. 6.47, 8.27, 8.28, and then you have like 12.2, 3, 4. Crystal clear that which is the highest path. So, according to Krishna himself, here also, Lord Kapildev himself is speaking. Na yujyamanaya bhakte. So, when he's using the word na, that means beginning the verse with na. That means the emphasis is on the other paths will not work without bhakti. Even the Vedic sacrifices, the yajnas, so in them, the actual uh, activation factor were the names of the Supreme Lord involved. Actually, any path does not work unless accompanied by the presence of the Supreme Lord. Because it is the presence of the Supreme Lord which is the activating factor there. So even the path of demigod worship, many people have this idea that demigod worship works on its own. It does not. It's like, are we alive because of soul's presence or because of super soul's presence? Super soul's presence. It is a misnomer that we are alive because of soul's presence. Soul has free will, but soul's free will cannot be activated without the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Super Soul. Like when we think of lifting our left hand, we are not lifting. Super Soul is lifting. We say we are lifting because we are responsible for it, because we desire it. But actually, in the middle, we can only express this is my free will. And it is only the Super Soul. This is also explained in the 13th chapter of the Gita. So, there is no question of anything happening without the Supreme Lord's sanction or without His blessing. Like we can see this creation also in the second canto, it is clearly mentioned by Brahmaji repeatedly. When Narada is asking question that I thought you are the Supreme Lord because you only created this entire universe, right? So everything I see is within the universe, and so you if you created that means you are the supreme guy, right? So then where is the question of you meditating on someone, you serving someone else? Brahma smiled and said, no, no. Let me tell you three chapters of second canto. Brahmaji says, like he further gives the teachings, and he says that no, no, I am actually Lord only is the primary creator, and I am just, and He only gives the elements. He only gives like the life within the all the souls in the universe, and He only gives me the intelligence also. So after he explained everything, then Narad Muni said, then what is your job? If everything Lord has done, then what is your job? So he says that my job is to agree that everything is done by Lord. And literally, this is the only thing soul can do. Soul can only glorify the Lord using his free. Otherwise, everything is actually done by the Lord. Lord is the doer. So, in especially in any spiritual path, the potency comes because of the presence of Supreme Lord in whatever way. Sometimes maybe the names of the Supreme Lord, whatever. But without the presence of bhakti, no other yoga path will work. It is explained in Bhagavatam, second and third canto, about Karma Mukti of Ashtanga Yogi also. So Ashtanga Yogi also, beyond a certain point, cannot progress unless he takes shelter of the path of meditation on Super Soul directly. The toughest junctions of that path are only crossed by that. And at the end also, he ends up in Brahman only, unless he switches to Bhakti and then gets the perfection. So, you know, it is like this is consistently clear in the Shastras that it is only bhakti to the Supreme Lord.
Even going to Brahman also he needs that.
Yeah, even to go to Brahman, those few stages to for him to cross over, he needs to take shelter of the meditation on the Supreme Lord, which is a kind of bhakti. But he can still leave it and he may end up with Brahman. But if he continues, just like here, Prabhu will tell him, if he continues carrying on, then he can actually reach the perfection. So, so Prabhupada also says that knowledge and renunciation are never perfect unless engaged in bhakti. So, and by bhakti, actually, one will get everything. So, does one get material, what do you call it, material progress or material benefit through it? Yes. Take the case of Mohan. You can see our own life. Since the time we came in Bhakti Yoga, the material life has been quite good. Who lives in such big place? Not other students of the university in Boston, right? Who gets such prasad without cooking, without pay? Isn't it? So, who gets so much name and fame? In ISKCON, we're always partying. Literally, you have to like get out of the party in order to continue living in the same body. Otherwise, your body only will not survive. Every time party only, from morning to night. So we can see like there is one in 1993 in West Virginia there was a drought. Okay. So I don't know if West Virginia or Pennsylvania, one of the two. There was a drought actually. So the rains didn't happen for 1 or 2 years, and like not a single drop of rain in the entire rainy season. And this was a big concern. Like everyone was talking about it, and because it affects people. So there was this show. I don't remember the name of the show. So it used to be aired on the radio and television, and it like went on for duration of 2 to 3 hours every episode, and it was hosted by Bob Cunningham. And this guy used to roast people, like call people, and then just ask so many questions. And so it could be positive, it could be negative, the way it goes. But he became very famous. His TRP ratings went up to like millions of people watching it, at least like 40 million people watching it. That kind of rating it got. So he invited once Chandramauli Swami. His name is Chandramauli Swami Maharaj. Because somewhere he heard something and he just invited. They heard about this new Vrindavan community. And because Maharaj was invited, he asked for a couple of more devotees. So three of them then went to the show. And this guy was totally fascinated. What is this Hare Krishna? And he asked questions one after the other. And they started giving this transcendental, because our message is transcendental. So then he said that, can you do something about this drought? They said, yeah. And they said such coolly and such definitive answer, like as a matter of fact. So he was taken aback. He said, "Are you serious? Do you mean you can make it rain?" Yeah. If people cooperate, then yes, we can make it rain. So what? Sir, are you realizing you are speaking this on live? There are 40 million people watching. They'll eat you up if you are bluffing around here because people are serious about this. He, he said, we have a process by which it will definitely rain. So he just turns to the audience, hey guys, let's let's test this out and let's cooperate now. So they say that we all have to chant one chant you know, together, and then it will rain. So this was like too much, for never come across such a absurd kind of claim. So then he said, okay, let's do it. I think for next half an hour or 1 hour, they went on like chanting, all these audience together. They were chanting in the studio. And the audience remained live. That means they was also be chanting. So he started chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, 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 Ram. Hare. And I guess so, though I don't know. I've heard only this much what I'm sharing. But I'm guessing one part. Probably he might have told that, you just hear this mantra and, in the spirit of depending upon the Supreme Lord, Krishna, or something like that he must have spoken. And people would have just, one good thing about Western people, they just follow actually if you tell something. Indians try to play it smart. They follow the rules. Even if you just write and go over.
That is for timing, they do that.
At least comparatively to the strategy that they're far better.
Yeah.
So people were doing that, and Chandramali Maharaj says that probably in the Western uh, history of Bhakti Yoga being spread in the Western world, this might have been by far the biggest Sankirtan of like maximum people ever, even the online. And actually, in the last part of the show, a news update came, weather update, that clouds are forming, black clouds are forming in the sky. And then the show ended by like 12 o'clock or so afternoon, like 9:30 or 12. And then these guys left, and they might have reached back to New Vrindavan before 1. And at 2 p.m., rains, it started downpouring. And it was such a heavy downpour that it didn't stop for next 72 hours.
Yeah.
So does Bhakti Yoga, this is just one example which came to mind. Does Bhakti Yoga lead to, you know, the benefits of all other paths as it is telling here? Because if all other paths are activated because of Bhakti Yoga, then Bhakti Yoga is obviously like it should contain everything. And it does. Only thing it does in such a way as per the sanction of the Lord for what is good for the Bhakti Yogi. In other paths, the terms and conditions and the endeavor are one's own. But in this path, it is according to the Lord, and that is the best thing. For a child, better than his understanding would be his parents' understanding. So, so Prabhupada also writes ahead. Devotional service itself is so powerful that by one's service attitude, everything is revealed. And then Prabhupada says it is Shiva Pantha. Pantha means marga, or the path. And Shiva means auspicious, and here and meaning most auspicious. So it is a most auspicious path. Why? Because he says that it is just by one's service attitude, everything is revealed. Prabhupada explained this as Prakashante Mahatma. Like we also sing that every day. Chakshudan dilo jayi, janme janme Prabhu sahi. See, generally, you say, like if I say someone does not have wealth, how will that poverty be removed? I'm saying someone has lack of wealth. So, how will that lack of wealth be solved? By providing wealth, though, whether it is by working hard or by inheritance. Correct? If I say there is lack of cleanliness, then how will it be solved? By cleanliness. So anything lack of is solved by provision of. Same thing. But see the Bhakti Yoga how it works. Chakshudan Dilodari, Janme Janme, Prabhu Sari, Divya Jnana Hriday Prakashita. प्रेम भक्ति जहां होते अविद्या विनाश हो जाते. See, if avidya is there, avidya is what? Lack of vidya, ignorance, lack of knowledge. And he's saying it is solved by prema bhakti. Lack of knowledge is solved by love. How this is see, it should have been Chakshudan Diloji and then some description of Jnana. And then that should solve avidya. So vidya should be the solution of. Bhakti Yoga, it is not like that. See, Bhakti Yoga, Chakshudan Trilojai, Janma Janma Trilojai, Divya Jnana Vidya Prakash. So when you get Divya Jnana, it should also lead to Bhakti only, Prema Bhakti. And then that Prema Bhakti will remove Avidya. Because it is a matter of heart. If it is head, yeah, Vidya can remove Avidya. But so many people know so much knowledge, even materially. Like I should not smoke or I should not drink. It is injurious for health. But they still do it, right? But when they are motivated by love, they will not do. Even materially. Love is a higher power than any other power. Because love can make you do things which even knowledge cannot, which even administration or authority cannot. Love is the highest power. So Bhakti Yoga is all about love. So So devotional service is so powerful that just by one service attitude, everything is revealed. Another thing Prabhupada says that bhakti necessitates the existence of the recipient of devotional service and the devotee who renders devotional service. So this love is two-sided. Love cannot be one-sided. As one as Bhakti Charan Maharaj would say, one lecture he asked in Juhu, he was asking the devotees, what is bhakti? And everyone was trying to describe. Then he said, bhakti is just reciprocation of love. He said, Krishna already loves us, always. He has always been loving us. When we reciprocate with that, acknowledging that we reciprocate with that, and we offer our love back to Him through whatever way, that is called bhakti. So, so after establishing this in verse number 19, that bhakti is the highest. Now, if we are in the place of devotee, what would we be thinking? So he said there are three paths, and I'll teach you all three paths. First, let me teach you bhakti. And it begins opening statement, sixer. The first ball, Kapil is putting a sixer there. This is the highest. And other parts also work by this only. Now, what will devotee think? How to get bhakti? Someone says this is the highest. You will think, na? How to get bhakti? Like someone says, I'll give you donation for the temple. There are six currency notes. This one is the highest, $100. How to get this? Isn't it? The next question is that only, no? So that is answered in text 20. How to get bhakti? प्रसंगम अजरम पाशम आत्मना कवयो विदु सैव साधु सुकृतो मोक्षद्वारम अपावृतम् प्रसंगम अजरम पाशम आत्मना कवयो विदु स एव साधु सुकृतो मोक्षद्वारम अपावृतम् Every learned man knows very well that attachment for a material is the greatest entanglement of the spirit soul. But that same attachment, when applied to the self-realized devotees, opens the door of liberation. See, what are words actually? So, prasangam, ajaram, pasham. So see, ajaram prasangam is very strong attachment. Pasham means it entangles, or it binds, or it makes one suffer, okay? Or it makes one act the way whether he or she may want or not. But attachment makes one do that. Atmana kavayo vidu. All the learned men, wise men, they can understand this, they can conclude this. Okay. But the same attachment, saeva sadhu shukruto, when it is transferred, when it is redirected to a sadhu. Of course, here sadhu means the devotee of Krishna, like the yogi, as the previous context is continued. Bhakti yogi. Then moksha dwaram bhavatam. Actually, he could have even said Prema Dwaram Bhavata or Vaikuntha Dwaram Bhavata, but he purposefully uses the word moksha. So technically, this moksha doesn't fit as per the description of bhakti. It's under a statement within the statement. He should have used the word Prema Dwaram Bhavata. But he uses the word moksha because the question was about moksha. Because that's that is the thing which would attract Devahuti. So he says that Devahuti wanted moksham. So you can just get moksha by associating with a devotee. Because how do we get uh, bhakti in the association of a devotee? Because a devotee has bhakti. Devotee has bhakti. Prabhupada very clearly says in the purport, specifically in the third paragraph, see, here it is recommended that attachment should be transferred to the self-realized devotees, the sadhus. And who is a sadhu? A sadhu is not just an ordinary man with a saffron robe or long beard. A sadhu is described in Bhagavad Gita as one who unflinchingly engages in devotional service. Even though one is found not to be following the strict rules and regulations of devotional service, if one simply has unflinching faith in Krishna, he is understood to be a sadhu. Sadhu eva samantavya. A sadhu is a strict follower of devotional service. It is recommended here that if one at all wants to realize Brahman or spiritual perfection, his attachment should be transferred to the sadhu or devotee. Lord Chaitanya also confirmed this. Lavamatra sadhu sangha sarva siddhi. Simply by a moment's association with a sadhu, one can attain perfection. So what happens is, so the sadhu is attached to Krishna, so we also get attached to Krishna by getting attached to him. Like see, if you are related to a rich man, somehow or other we will also experience some benefits. Somehow or other. Even if you are just related to him. So for example, like there were some people who were somehow, they were not very big people, but they had some connection. Somehow it happens sometimes life gives you some connection to some very rich man. So there were people who were related to this Mukesh Ambani or some of his family members. Maybe somebody studied in the school together or just some special incident happened in ordinary person, middle class person. Some of these people also were invited to that party. Recently, some marriage was going in their town last year, maybe this year, I don't remember, but some few months back. And even to these people, return gifts were given worth more than 1 crore each. So there was an article about this one person, one family that what we, what our entire family does not earn in 5 years, we got from one party because they got this relationship, some connection, or even if they keep inviting you, there's like scene with you. People put their photos with some big person. So the other people they develop credibility for this person in mind, and then people want to connect with you. So many such things can happen. And what to say of if the relationship is really having some substance? It can lead to so many benefits. It can lead one to have some business contact or some business directly. So any person who is in touch, who is rich in anything, his near and dear ones will always have some impact. Okay. Even Narasimhadev says that Prahlad, many of your family's generations I will liberate. And I'll send them to Vaikuntha just because you are a devotee. We find that even Bali Maharaj is addressed as someone related to Prahlad because he comes in that lineage. We find so many places Arjuna is addressed as Partha, when you are the son of Pritha. We find Dhruva also addressed like that. Hey, you are behaving like that. Swayambhu Manu says, you are coming in such lineage. So this is always like that. That one has that benefit. What to say if one becomes dear to that person or pleases him? Then he will hand over his inheritance only. You only take, isn't it? And what is his property? What is the property of a sadhu? Like someone is very dear to him, to Pujari. So he will get extra Mahaprasad, right? Because him, has a lot of Mahaprasad. Someone is very dear to Manmari Pandit. So he'll get a lot of services. So he's got a lot of services. Isn't it? Yeah. And someone is dear to Raghav Prabhu. He will get invitations day and night for programs. Leave everything and just come. He's got that kind of spirit, lot of whatever a person has, anyone close to him will receive that. So a sadhu has Krishna. A sadhu is attached to Krishna. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya. Prabhupada is always at the lotus feet of Vishnu. Krishna Prasthaya. And he's so dear to Krishna, and Krishna is so dear to him. So then you get close to Prabhupada, or you associate with him, which means his books, or you serve him, you get that blessing. Like Prabhu is serving in Meta. So what does Meta give you, Prabhu?
Facebook ads.
It gives money, and it gives those Facebook credits. Because they have these things, and they give Facebook stocks. Because these are the things they have. Whatever of value one has, because of which he is rich in that, anyone who's close to him, associates with him, or serves him will get that. It's nature's law. You associate with a lusty man who's always lusty. It is definitely you will get it. It's not possible you can avoid it. You associate and you become friends with a criminal person, and suddenly one day police knocks at your door. The other day you were in you looted the bank. Which bank I looted? No, no, you guys were going in that car. Yeah, that I was just going with my friend. He said we have to drive somewhere. Yeah, so that was, you know, in the back of the car there was police. So, so our association and our service leads us to attaining, you know, and therefore it is said, you become attached to a sadhu. Somehow or other, at least you'll see Tilak. At least you'll see you have some devotee as a friend, like Hare Krishna. Even in teasing him, sixth canto, third chapter says, even you tease a devotee because you have some maybe he's in your neighborhood, then Hare Krishna boy. So many times you say Hare Krishna. So you get Krishna even by that kind of association. Therefore, love matra sadhu sangha sarva siddhi. Jayanand Prabhu, so many people who knew him actually became devotees because he was so much of a sadhu. I think Shivan opening. So, so these two verses we covered. Further, we'll see later how further he describes the process of devotional service. Hare Krishna. Well, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Bhagavatam ki jai. So you were using Facebook. So you were using Facebook as an example. Very nice. This confusion.
Krishna. Jaya Radha Gopi Vallabh Radha Gopi Vallabh Radha Jaya Radha Gopi Vallabh Radha Jaya Radha Gopi Vallabh Radha
Govindam Hari Purusham Mohan Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham Mohan Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham Mohan Bhajami Angani Yasavakane Priya Priyanti Pasyanti Kanti Kayanti Tirantakanti Aradati Mayasaru Radha Vigrahasya Govinda Krishna Prati Moya Aite